everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Work Your Wellness Biz podcast. Today is another coaching call. These episodes are where I talk with one of my community members of the Better Collective, and they just get a chance to put me in the hot seat and ask me all their burning questions. And today I have Kelly Jackson with me, and I am excited to see what we're going to talk about. So before we hop in, Kelly, why don't you just quickly share what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Kelly, and I run the Simply Organized Teacher, which is a blog and a business and a podcast, courses, all sorts of stuff to help teachers create organized classrooms.
Awesome. So what is your first question?
My course. So I have my main course, the Organized Teacher Framework, that I'll be launching again this July for, I think, the 4th or 5th time.
Nice.
And I have I don't know, I need to add something onto it, or I want to add something onto it. Like part of me wants to add a membership component. And I thought, okay, do I do pay extra for a Facebook group, or pay extra for a Facebook group and monthly trainings? Or do I do it completely separate from the course, like do a membership separate from the course? And then a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Jenny, who is our mutual friend, and we were just talking about my business and my dreams and my goals, and almost kind of like this was something I had already been thinking of, but then she said it. And so it was like, oh, that's weird. How are you in my brain? But she was like, maybe you kind of start shifting from only talking about classroom stuff, but like, how do your website is the Simply Organized Teacher. Like a teacher isn't just in their classroom all the time. They're at home, they have families, they have other things that they're doing, like moving to a more, how can I help you outside of the classroom be organized? And she was talking about doing some kind of membership group with that and having the course live inside of the membership. And I just have all of these ideas floating around in my head. And I just am curious, on your perspective, I think the group that you have going with the Better Collective is a really good group. I've watched it grow since I joined. And I get so much value out of it. And I want to do something like that for my audience, but I don't know. Can you help me?
Yes. So a few things. One, I think it's normal as business owners for us to be like, oh, I want to add something. I want to add something to it. I have to add more to make it better, when that's not necessarily the case. Not to say I'm not saying don't add anything, but don't feel I would really think about why do I want to add something to it? Is it I feel like I need to, or is it like you said, or is it I want to run a membership or something like that?
Can I be really honest?
Yes.
I want steady income every month.
Yes.
I want something that, I sell my course and it's one and done. And I want something that I can count on each month to be bringing in money, because, when I launched it last summer, it did really well, but now I'm waiting until I do that again. So I'm I can't really buy this or pay for this or, do this upgrade on my business until,
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, I mean, that's kind of I don't know. Totally, I feel almost tacky or dirty saying that, but no. Hello, we run a business. Yes. You have to make money.
Yes. Do not feel dirty for saying I want consistent income, because that's what we're in business for. So that's that's one of the reasons I started the Better Collective. Yes, I wanted, I love teaching, and I wanted a place to have, I don't want to say a one-to-one, because obviously there's more than one person in the group, but I wanted a place where I could more closely help people without them having to be my client. And, because not everyone needs a whole new website or can afford an entire new website. So I wanted a kind of an in-between place of more help than I give on Instagram, but you don't have to be a client. So just to put that in perspective. So,
And there is a part of me that like, I do want to help the teachers.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
I almost feel like, okay, here, you bought this from me. And then now you're just like left on your own,
Yeah.
like I want to be able to help them with their specific needs.
Yeah.
Again, without having to have them hire me in a one-on-one capacity.
So the first thing I would think about is what would help them be more successful. I remember someone said this to me. It's been like 2 years. I was thinking about like with my website design packages. I was like, oh, should I add this on? Maybe I should do this. Maybe this could be an add-on and they pay extra if they want it. And then if they don't want it, then I don't have to do it. And she was like, well, would it help them? Would it help your clients be more successful if they had this component? And I was like, yes. And she's like, then don't charge extra for it. Like, don't make it an add-on. Not to say that you like for a course, I think it's different, but like you could think about what would help them be more successful. Would it be that accountability of a membership, or something like that, or something else completely? Like, what would that look like? And the membership, like, what would help them be more successful in that membership? Like, what does that membership need to look like to help them? So it's not just like, oh, I joined this thing and like it kind of helps, but like, what does it need? How does it need to be set up to be most helpful for them? Something I have seen with courses, the one that I bought last year was, okay, like you bought the course and then for like the next, it was like 8 to 10 weeks, the course owner was doing Facebook Lives and like all these like little special trainings, and was very, very heavily like active and involved in the Facebook group and like all these resources and like, okay, this week's module 3, I'll see you on Thursday. We'll go through, answer questions, all this stuff. Then at the end of that 8 to 10 weeks, the Facebook group closed. Like I think we can still access it, but it's archived. We can't like comment in there. But if you wanted more support, then he had a membership. And like, if you want continued support from me, like you still had the course, like the course didn't close, just the Facebook group. But if you wanted continued support from me, then you have to come join the membership. And that's why he closed the Facebook group. I mean, obviously, I think he could have just left the Facebook group or like not responded to comments or something. But I also know that like he would get thousands and thousands of tags and comments, and that would be awful to deal with. But you could think about doing something like that, where if you really wanted to funnel people into your membership, that it's like, oh, you buy the course, kind of like what our friend Jenny was saying, like it's kind of like, but a little bit different, but instead of having the course be in the membership, you could have it be leading into the membership. For that
like they have to go through the course before they get into the membership kind of thing. Yeah.
But you could also, but was saying with that is you have to think about like, do they need to be in the, like, does it actually
no,
need
probably
to be,
not.
Like, is it like a prerequisite or not? If that's not the case, then maybe it could be when you launch the course, then it's like a slight discount into the membership. Like, okay, instead of $39 a month, it's $29 a month during this launch period, and then, or something like that.
Because I started, like when I launched it last year, I tried to do this, and I think I had 3 teachers join, and only 2 of them like actively engaged. So it was like they bought the course, and then it tripwired them to a, oh, hey, do you want to join the membership? And the 2 people who joined were very active, but it felt like a way more work than what I was like making from it, Yes. But my like I've had this idea for years of basically like each month being like focusing on something going on in the classroom during that. So like August, we're obviously going to be talking about going back and setting up in your classroom, but maybe December, it's talking about how to wind down for the, break, and like, how are you going to shore up procedures so that your kids aren't going crazy the last week of school? Applicable things to like whatever time of the year it is. So I don't think they would need the course in order to have access to that.
I think one of the key things is you just have to make sure your positioning of the membership makes sense. Like, and it sounds like you would kind of talk about, like you were mentioning earlier, about like organizing your life outside of just being a teacher, and like preparing for the new school year, winding down for the holidays, that kind of thing. And so just making sure it's not like, come join my membership to organize your classroom. Because then I'm not a teacher, obviously, but I feel like I would be like, I don't need a membership to like organize my classroom. Like I do that like every few months, or like really when I'm setting up, or like at fall break, or, like whatever. Like I wouldn't be like, okay, my office isn't that messy. I don't need to organize my classroom every single month, So I think the positioning of it would be really, really important, just to make sure that it's like you said earlier, the just like making sure the headline is very clear about like, what is the end result?
Like, helping you spend less time at school would be the end result. Like helping you, because that's what I want to help teachers do. I want them to go be a teacher at school for 8 hours a day and then go home and do whatever else they want to do and not take their work home. All this. I'm saying this mainly for myself so I can listen back to it when I write the sales page.
Yes. But I think focusing on that end result, because like for me, I mean, I'll be honest, this is something that I've struggled with and had to refine, because when I talk about the Better Collective, people aren't like, ooh, I want to join a membership and learn how to organize my website or like fix my website. They're like, no, I don't. Like I had someone who had left, and I do like an exit survey, and they said, it's great, but like, I don't want to touch my website. Like, I just want someone else to do it. And so I have really, because what I really wanted, the purpose of the Better Collective is to help you guys get more clients and grow your business. And so that needs to be more of my positioning and what I talk about, not just like organize your website, because people are like, snooze fest. No, thank you.
So maybe launching it with a discount during the course time, like if they want to add on to it, or I could get 8 to 10 weeks of free help, but it's like you bought the course.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say free help, but I would say like
additional support.
Well, I would like call it, like talk about it, because I did this for when I had a course. I had like my regular version, and then I had my like plus version, and that not saying you have to have two versions, but I was like, oh, you get like a few live calls over like the next 3 months to like Q&A, troubleshoot, like whatever. So then like the regular version, it was just like, you just get the course, no support. And then the plus version, it was like, you get live calls. So maybe you could say like, the next 2 months you get like weekly Q&A or bi-weekly Q&A or whatever, to go through everything, get, support from me and from other teachers, get your questions answered, get feedback, etc. Because then it's not just like, oh, I have to figure this out by myself, or like, because I'm sure teachers love to like see what other teachers are doing, like, what kind of shelves do you have? What kind of bins are you using? Like, that kind of thing. So I think, I wouldn't call it free help, but something about like support, Q&A calls, something along those lines.
Okay.
Because then they get a taste of like the support you provide. And then it's like, because I did think about that membership from that course last year. I was like, do I want to invest in this? Like, because now, like, I just took this course, and now, like, I don't have access to him anymore. And so it was like, which I ended up not, but I was like, I mean, do I want support? Like now I don't have anywhere to ask all these questions. So that's, something that you could say to get them in the membership.
Okay.
Lots
So
to
many
think
ideas.
about. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
I would also, as always, poll your audience, see like, do you want a place to like, or help?
Yeah. Like what were questions that you asked, like when thinking about the Better Collective that you asked, or did you, I don't know, maybe you didn't. But...
I honestly don't think I did, which is really bad. But I'd had a Facebook group before to ask questions, like just a free Facebook group. But what I did is I really launched it kind of like to existing clients and people who had worked with me recently, and was like, hey, like I'm starting this membership. Like if you're interested, it's a place to ask questions, like learn how to use your website, make it better, just stay on top of things, etc. And that's kind of how I started it. It was kind of like I didn't even launch it to the public. I didn't even tell the public about it for like the first 3 months. And then I was like, surprise, I started a membership 3 months ago. So you could, like, if you have on your email list, like if you have people tagged that have purchased from you before, you could maybe email them and ask like, what kind of support are you looking for? Are you looking for support? Would you be interested in a place to, like be in community with other teachers, organize things outside of school, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm writing this down. I can go back and listen to it. Like over here, like
you're like me. I'm a note taker.
Wait, this is going to be on the podcast soon. I can just listen to it then.
But yeah, that would just asking like if they're looking for support, what kind of support, do they, and even asking questions like, would you want like a monthly call, like a group call, or because then that can also give you more context for like, I want support, but I don't have time for a monthly call. Like maybe they just want a checklist every month, or like, do they want to watch, maybe it's not even a live call. Ask them like, would you be interested in like a 10-20 minute pre-recorded training? Like, yes, no, maybe they're like, checklist or something, some kind of resource. So ask them different kind of like what kind of resources they would be interested in, and see what they say. Okay. I would also, even though people usually kind of lie, ask them about like, how much would you be willing to invest, but give them multiple choice answers so they can say like 19, like give them like $10 to $20, $20 to $30, like whatever. People are always more optimistic and they're like, yeah, I would pay $20 a month for this. And then you put it out there for $19 and they're like,
nope.
Just which really comes down to the positioning and the value, not so much the money, but then it can at least give you an idea of people if they're like $0 to $5, $5 to $10, $0.
And that's what I have to come to terms with is like, I have a feeling a lot of teachers are going to be like $0 to $5.
Yeah. So that, I mean, like if you did something for less than $10 a month, like you would have to obviously have a lot of members to make a profit, but you could look at like, okay, so what could I do that would match that $10? Like you don't need to do 3 calls a month if you're making $9 a month per person.
Yeah, that's true. If they come back and say, I don't want to pay more than $5, well, then maybe all they get is, a checklist or something each month, like, and a Facebook group to ask questions. And
you do like 1 Facebook Live a month or something. Like it's not like a training, but like, hey, I wanted to like hop in here and talk about organizing your bins or whatever, like, or like preparing for December, like whatever it is. but just make sure that what you are making matches the effort. I don't want to say don't over deliver, because that, like, it is good to over deliver, but like, again, we don't need to do 3 calls.
$5 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll come up with the survey and post it in the group to
Yes.
have people look at and tell me
That
what
sounds
they
good.
think.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we hop off, first of all, thanks for being here. Thanks for putting me in the hot seat.
Thanks for answering all my questions, not just today, but all the time.
But before we hop off, I would love for you to share where we can connect with you online.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. My blog is The Simply Organized Teacher. So you can find me in all those places there.
Awesome. I will put those links in the show notes so you guys can connect with Kelly. But yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.